need that.
No, I'm not taking this. Must have left that there from the last session. So to introduce myself, my name's Kyle Blackburn. I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist. What brings you guys in here today?
Well, I am recently divorced, and my girls just are unruly. There's beer bottles in our basement. I smell weed in the basement. They're skipping school. Their grades have plummeted. I'm pretty sure they hate me.
Where does that idea come from?
They tell me.
Okay. So how about you guys?
Yeah, Mom just doesn't do anything. She just yells at us all the time. And my sister and I, we do everything to try to help around the house, but Mom just doesn't see it that way, and Dad just left for some random reason, so just kind of pissed at Mom because it's always our fault for everything.
We never can do enough. We're constantly getting yelled at. Our rooms are clean, the house is clean, we never do anything. It's always our fault.
So were you guys always angry with Mom?
Pretty much.
You were more than I was, but yes.
Okay.
She's just denying it. She was really pissed at Mom, too.
Okay. So if you think back, like what changed for you? And your name is Lisa, right?
Yes. Well, I guess when Mom and Dad were arguing all the time, constant, I don't know. This whole thing is just a mess.
Yeah, why are we even here anyways?
It's dumb. It's Mom being dramatic.
Okay, so I should explain to you guys a little bit about cognitive behavioral therapy, just so you guys understand what we're doing. I did send some materials home, and I know that...
We didn't see those.
I mean, of course she hid them, so...
Okay. Okay, so essentially what we're doing with cognitive behavioral therapy is you're really looking at how your thoughts affect the way that you're feeling. So, and oftentimes there are situations like, you can call them triggers, like people, places, activities, and things that trigger thoughts about things. So, as human beings, it's natural for us to adapt to our environment. So sometimes your experiences change the way that you perceive the world and you perceive things. So what we're really looking at is what you tell yourself about different events and different situations and challenging those beliefs, because oftentimes our perceptions aren't reality or aren't accurate.
So what if we don't want to adapt to our environment because everything that is going on in our house is complete bullshit? It's ridiculous.
What's going on in our house?
The chaos.
I
And
feel
you
like
don't
the
listen,
chaos
Mom.
is both of you.
You don't listen to us.
When do I not listen to you? What am I not listening to you
See,
about?
she always does the guilt trip. Every time we say something, she just totally guilts it back to us instead of taking accountability for herself.
Go ahead, Mom, you were talking.
Well, I'm just wondering if you could explain how that was a guilt trip.
It just feels like it's our fault. Like the blame is on us. And when things aren't done around the house to meet your standards, it's always our fault. Or just because you're working doesn't mean that we have to be home and be your slaves and clean the house. Because you're constantly making us do chores.
So I would ask, where's the idea that it's all your fault come from?
Well, because when she comes home, it's immediately yelling and complaining that the house is a mess and that we didn't do our chores like she wanted us to.
So when Mom yells at you about the chores, what do you tell yourself about that?
I guess I don't talk to myself, but maybe it makes me feel like I'm not good enough or what I did wasn't good enough.
So in this model with CBT, what we're doing is really, one thing to really keep in mind is when you feel things, when your emotions are really strong. So a lot of people are under the perception that their emotions are just out of their control, but they're driven by your thoughts. So when I ask you what you're telling yourself, when you say that you're upset, there's thoughts, they call them automatic thoughts, that come before those emotions. So when your mom comes home and she's upset about your chores, what do you tell yourself? Like self-talk.
Here she goes again. Like that.
Okay. And so when you tell
right?
yourself...
Do you do that?
I just roll my eyes and don't even listen to her because there's no point. It's like la 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 in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing, because it's the same thing every day.
So when you tell yourself, here we go again, how does that make you feel?
Right? That I'm right, because here we go again, because there's never something different.
Is that 100% of the time? Like it's never different?
Would you agree? Probably. Maybe if we have a good week, it might be one day that it's okay.
Okay. So that's what I mean. There's differences in perceptions. And what they call that is like all or none thinking. So, yeah, we can talk more about that later. But, Mom, what's your perception of this?
I feel like our family's been abandoned and I need some extra help around the house. I can't do it by myself, so I would expect my teenage daughters to pick up after themselves. More what I'm worried about is the drugs and the drinking and the grades. So it's not necessarily, picking up your dirty socks off the floor. It's more doing your homework.
She should be talking, right? She does the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
So let's focus on that then. Let's focus on the drugs and the drinking. When did that start?
Well, I probably started slowly when my husband and I started arguing before he left.
Okay.
And then it increased from there.
Okay. And so who was using?
Well, you were using first, Lisa, and you seemed like you turned your sister onto it.
Of course. Again, here we go again. It's all my fault. Always. Because I'm oldest, it's my fault. I'll take it. What's new?
Were you going to say something?
No.
Keep going.
Well, that's really it. I mean, I want us to be a happy family, and I realize that cannot be 100% right now, and I'm just kind of wondering how to start over again from where we're at now.
I still don't know where Dad is.
Mm-hmm. She won't tell us.
She hasn't told us where Dad is.
Is that true?
I don't think that they need to know where he's at. He's chose to leave us, and
Mm-hmm. So what would that change if you guys understood where your dad was at?
That she loves us enough to tell us where Dad is.
We deserve the right to know he is
He's our dad.
And how do you feel about that?
I just worry that it's going to hurt them more, but I suppose if they really want to know, it's not going to bring them back, though.
This is just like a really, really good example of how she treats us like a kid. We're not kids. We're not 5. We're teenagers. We're in high school. Hello. We can handle it.
And Dad just randomly left. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah.
So your father ran away to Paris with his lover, and he's not coming back.
Do you believe her? Seriously?
I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. Like,
You
I don't
seriously-
believe you.
You really don't believe her?
Do you?
I don't know.
What on earth? Why would he go there?
I told him to leave the country. So he did.
I
really
can't help but
emotional
laughing
about it.
because this is the stupidest story you've ever told us, ever. It's ridiculous.
You can believe it if you
All
want
of
to
a
or
sudden
not
each other
believe
being
it.
gay. Seriously?
He was with her. I'd be gay too.
So does that change things now that you guys know where your dad went and who with?
I don't even know what to say. I'm laughing because I'm trying to imagine myself telling my friends my dad is gay.
Yeah,
really.
and then she waits till a freaking therapy session to tell us that he's gay. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
So I would like to come up with some goals, maybe as a group, as a family. Like, what are some things that you guys would like to work on today? I understand we've got substance use, we've got
lies, because Mom didn't tell us where Dad was, and she waited until now to say.
Valuing us, making us feel like we're humans and not slaves in this house.
Where you at with that? You in agreement?
Yeah, I think we need to work on all of that and communication too. It doesn't feel good keeping a secret like that from your girls.
Okay, so what do you tell yourself about communication with the girls? Or with each of them individually?
That if I keep things from them, I can protect them from being hurt more.
So what are the consequences of that belief?
They feel like young children. They think I don't value them.
And would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't trust you.
The trust is totally broken between us.
And so what do you tell yourself about communication with your mom?
Well, I try to communicate with her, but she just totally doesn't even listen to me, so there's no point in even trying to communicate because she totally blocks me out. And I feel like I'm not heard.
I understand. But what do you tell yourself about the communication, like your self-talk?
That she obviously doesn't value me because she doesn't want to listen to what I have to say.
Okay, and where did that idea come from?
Just the fact that she hasn't taken the time after Dad's left to like really check up on us and like see how we are. She just yells at us and like takes out her anger on us why Dad left, and like just she has not even taken a minute to care about me or my sister. And so we're just like pulling up the slack because she is totally abandoned us since Dad left.
So hypothetically, say your mom starts communicating with you guys more. What would be the major change?
Maybe there would be some trust building between all three of us and actually listening to me and my
Right?
sister.
Yes.
Okay. So, and what do you tell yourself about communication with your mom, Lisa?
I don't know. I don't know if I talk to myself, like I said. I don't even know if I have thoughts. I just wait for it to come because I know it comes every time she gets home from work. We even sit before she gets home from work and we talk about it. Like, what is she going to say today? What is today going to be?
And then she tells me to go to my room because she's my older sister and she wants to protect me from Mom.
Because here she comes when we hear her pull up in the driveway. Here it goes.
Mm-hmm. So what are the consequences of that, though, when you tell yourself that before your mom even comes in the house?
It's probably negative. I don't know if there's a consequence. Because she gives us plenty of them.
So I guess I look at it like I'm really into confirmation bias, and have you ever heard that before? Essentially, it's how people look for evidence to basically support the beliefs that they already hold. So, for instance, if you come to a group therapy session and you say, you know, I'm going to learn shit here and this is going to be awful, then, you know, you'll
Pretty
kind
much,
of look
yeah.
for
That's
evidence
where
to
we're at.
support that. So, you know, if your mom gets home and you say, here we go again, or this is going to be bad, then what do you think's the consequence of that?
It's probably going to be bad.
So is there an alternate way to look at it?
Well, I guess if she changes, then I can change.
I like that. So how do you feel about that?
I feel like it's workable. I mean, well, we'll have to see how it goes, but we can try it.
So what are you going to change? Like, if I do what he's saying that I do, so tomorrow when you come home, what are you going to change so I don't have to think negatively?
I can watch my reactions when you're speaking to me, so that way I don't blow up as much. I am under a lot of stress, so I
Yeah,
can
we
pay attention
know.
to that. But in return, that I would ask that you guys keep up with what is expected of you daily at the house too.
I guess if you're willing to try, then we could try. Do you think?
I guess.
Good. Solution focus. See you guys next week.